Hi. Um, I just laughed because I just had the thought that it's been a while since I showed up with makeup on video. Usually it's just always in the morning, right after waking up. So here I am, my made up face, with my made up face. No, what I wanted to talk about is just two things that got me a little excited these days. But before that, I, I, just for honesty's sake, I think I value that is I've not been doing so well in the last days and in general over the last in the whatever weeks, months, something. But I've been really upset about for once about a person, and for the other thing about my general tendency of procrastinating and with things that that have nothing to do with who I am, but or with my passions or anything, but that kind of have to do with my survival needs and my financial security needs, whatever. But yeah, that's just to let you know I'm not at my best at the moment. Yeah, I feel a lot of pain over, especially over the hatred or over the unresolvedness I feel with the other person, as well as yeah, and I don't know what the as well is, but it's just getting down on my health as well. Anyways, now that was just for honesty's sake, and that you know where I am, so you can better relate to what I'm saying. And what I wanted to say is the one thing that I discovered. I watched this TED, do you say TED or TED video on YouTube yesterday from this woman who spoke about how she was and still is writing love letters to strangers, and it's one of the latest videos on TED, and she's even made it a whole movement kind of thing. What's it called? The world needs more love letters or something. Love letters. Damn! I might look it up and put it in below. Yeah, and I just when I listen only to the first 3 or 4 minutes of her speech because it just got me so inspired. I was like, yes, I love that. I really love that. And so I wrote one yesterday, and I wrote one this morning. And yesterday I went and I left it somewhere, and this morning and I went and I left it somewhere, and it's. Especially at the moment, it's this these vibes of love that are coming up when I write those letters. It's also about getting a little bit over a sense of awkwardness when I write them, because I feel a little bit like yeah, there are doubtful thoughts that come up, and thoughts that say who am I? I mean, I want to write a love letter. How can you write a love letter to someone you don't know, right? But I believe you can, because I know those states where I feel love for just for humanity in general, and I know that yeah, I feel love for humans, for who we are when we are our best, and also not so much for who we are when we're not our best, but for the longing and the heart that's kind of beating and flowing inside someone who's really not at their best at the moment, and who if you find the heart in there, the heart's desire for the desire for connection with oneself and everything, then it's also, I can feel great deal of love. Yeah, and I did that. I wrote that. Mm, yeah, and maybe just one thing I want to say about that is it's very selfish. I mean that in a good way. It's a good thing, or rather, what I want to say. I'm happy. I'm grateful that I am clear enough by now about my intention that this is a selfish thing. It's not something about saving the world um, or helping others in the sense of without regard of myself. I do this because it makes me feel good to imagine that someone reads it and maybe gets a smile or maybe even a tear or something, just some sense of relief, some sense of yeah. And I just know for myself how happy it makes me to observe random acts of kindness, of compassion. Just even if it's not directed towards me, just observing it just makes me really, really, really happy. It reminds me of that one blog post I wrote about the beauty I find in the small things, the beauty of life that I find in small things, and that's exactly something like that. And yeah, so much about that. I don't know if I will continue with it or not. I can see that it will be a process about authenticity and sincerity, really. Can I be really sincere writing such a love letter? Because sincerity is something that's so, so, so important for me. The inner connection that it creates with myself when I'm sincere, and the disconnect that I create if I'm unsincere, right? I mean, it's so easy to write a word like I love you and not feel it or really feel it. And yeah, that's something. And the other thing I wanted to mention here is, and it's kind of, I just, you know, you probably know by now that I am very interested into law of attraction and manifestation and working with your vibrational state in order to attract what you want, and at the same time empathy and how especially self-empathy and how that affects how connected you feel. And I just wrote, I sometimes do that. One way for me to connect with my heart is to, especially when I feel disconnect over the lack of something, I wrote, because okay, I've been struggling a lot with, or I've always been struggling a lot with being around people who are not radically honest, because I am in my truest self a horribly, no, a wonderfully radically honest person, in the positive and in the negative, to really feel alive. I really want to feel I can express my appreciation and my joy and everything, as well as my anger and my fear, and in an absolutely honest way. And yeah, and then being around people who carry a lot of pretense, I struggle to keep up this honesty and sincerity. And yes, and so I wrote, basically I just wrote down what is the what was the word, it's just one sentence, like what is the beauty in expressing my negative emotion. Oh no, actually it was more specific. What is the beauty in expressing to someone that I perceive them as fake and that I don't like it, what I perceive. And I just wrote and thought about it very briefly, and then started doing something else, and all of a sudden I was surfing the internet, and I stumbled over this catchphrase, radical honesty, and then the book that it was written by, what is it, Brad Brenton or something, and yeah, no, it got me. And yeah, why do I share this little manifestation story? Because me, who is really so passionate about honesty and who's been often at a point where I felt I was longing for guidance, was longing for others that really, really share that that level of valuing honesty as I do, radical honesty. And I must have searched for something in relation to that a lot on the internet. Usually I always do that when I feel doubtful, insecure, as well as helpless. So I reach out for the internet, which of course never really gets you a result because you're not in vibrational alignment with what you want. And so it's just this short manifestation story, how I suddenly, with that little reaching for alignment, already brought me something so beautiful. Checked it out on the Facebook page of the author of that book, and just what he posts and the way he posts is something that's so yeah, something that's really, really, really meaningful. I can feel my juices. I know better word. I never like the word juice. It feels something about it feels disgusting. So rather say I can feel my what's a better word than juices for me right now? My spirit is a little bit too abstract. That's the good part about juice. It's not abstract. My sparks, maybe my sparks come into life, getting activated, bubbling. Sparks don't bubble though. Something like that. So I think you're getting what I'm trying to say. And guys, girls, ladies, and the how do you say that in English? The few, I don't know, the few alien races that might be listening. I so much value honesty in the way I understand it. Like, it's not about being it's really, honesty has so little to do with sharing your opinions, because not because you shouldn't share your opinions, but sharing something as opinions is actually a lie, because it doesn't really come from your heart. Like, for example, I go and say, I think let's take something where I'm very opinionated about, and practice my own honesty right now. Help. Okay. It's funny because I already tend not to put it in an opinion way, but rather into a message from my heart. So, Indians, South Indian Indians that I'm talking, I really don't. It takes a lot. I tend to have a quite negative, can you call it prejudice? Attitude, just call it attitude towards Indians. Yeah. Wow. It's not, it really takes something. But it elevates you, that honesty, that vulnerability, because putting yourself out there and saying, okay, there are some, first of all, there are some things that I don't like about you, and even going further and saying, I do have prejudices, which is not a nice thing to have. Everybody knows we shouldn't have prejudices because it's overgeneralizing, it's never true, it can't never be true to the individual, and so on. But it's there. That's what's there. I don't. And the other part is why is it tough to be for me to be honest about that? Not even so much because I'm scared of some negative reactions of some Indian people, but I'm more even scared of someone who would agree, because I don't share that what I share in order to, yeah, that's I think that's the crucial thing here. My intention is not to be right, especially when I share something where I'm so feeling so basically ashamed or feeling, see, it's not something, it's a really tough spot. But okay, taking all this very confused blabber aside, what I really want to say is it does matter to be honest. Just because you don't have, say, just because what you share has implications or might have implication that you don't intend, I think it's still important to be honest, because that's who you are. That's how do you want to relate to the world, to another person, if you don't bring yourself to the table? You can only relate as much as you relate yourself. So if you only relate, say, whatever, the 30% of genuine, well-meaning, compassionate human being, clear-minded, whatever it takes to be a good one, right? Well, then you only relate 30%. And I don't want that. I'm not interested in that. I just, it honestly, it suffocates me. It just suffocates me. Right now, why am I often not looking at the camera? Because I'm looking at my own video. I like what I'm seeing. So, yeah, gosh, it is scary, but see, I believe that we as the human race, or whatever you call it, one part of the, whatever they call it, evolution or ascension or whatever, of consciousness is moving towards a state where that level of honesty is normal, is the normal way to relate to each other. And yeah, and oh gosh, no, not an end anymore, because anybody who might listen to that is a really patient person, and I respect that, and I don't want to draw it out any further. Be honest with, be honest, maybe that's the final words. Be honest with your, now I'm just looking for the word in English. What would it be in German? Nicht-Perfektion, so your imperfection. Be honest with your imperfection. Don't, I mean, be honest with what you really like about yourself, but be honest with the other parts as well. I think, no, not think, forget the think part. I believe and I feel, even though I'm really not 100% sure, that this is what's good. because not even so much for the sake of others, but for your own sake, because it purifies your vibration. It connects you with yourself on a deep level. It makes you feel integrated. It makes you feel whole. It makes you feel free. It makes you, most of all, free from fear. And everybody deserves honesty, even if they don't want to hear it. Even if they don't want to hear it. Okay, that's it for right now.